we're gonna be telling our story, but it's gonna be like a battle with me and you with good and evil, or not good and evil, but like oh yeah, what I think. Right, like I think the jail time really saved my life. Like I don't think school would have saved me like jail saved, you know? And you're gonna be like, well, I don't think, you think the school is what saved your life from being a hood. You like doing your work. You like.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And then I'm gonna be like, I graduated from the streets and you graduated from Harvard, so it's both the top-notch colleges. If I graduated from Brownsville, right. I graduated from Brownsville, the roughest neighborhood in Brooklyn. To me, you graduated from Harvard, which y'all quote unquote think that's the roughest. Y'all think a sister from the hood can't do.
Hey, what's up, everybody? You are listening to Parables from the Projects. I am co-host Mia Hall, riding in today solo just for part of this episode. So we are committed to publishing an episode every week. So I am coming on to share a throwback clip from when my dad was out here in California. He recorded a couple videos, so you can go to his page at GorgeousGordy9, or our Facebook page, Parables from the Projects, to see the video version of this. But I am going to share a clip as his What's Going On. So I'll start with my What's Going On, though, as we always like to do. Actually, first of all, I'm going to start by saying thank you to all of our listeners. Thank you to everybody who's left us a review. We love you, we appreciate you, and we thank you. Everybody that's given us feedback from week to week, man, shout out to you. All our new listeners that's catching us for the first time, make sure you check out parablesfromtheprojects.com to find out more info. All right, so what's going on with me this week, man? I'm excited for the new year. I'm excited to, just have a whole 12 months, to start anew, start something fresh. And since it's the beginning of the new decade too, it's, definitely awesome to, just think about the possibilities. Like, of course, in 2010, I was in a totally different place. I was working at the High School of Sports Management, and I didn't know that 10 years later I would be living in Los Angeles. I didn't know that me and my dad would have a podcast. We've always wanted to tell, our stories, how he went from Rikers to righteousness, how I went from the hood to Harvard. But, we have been sitting on it for a long time, since before 2010. So after a decade, we are looking to get it out in a major way. So 2020 is going to be a year that we really share this story, as we continue to share the story, actually, since we started in 2019. But you're going to see some different things, so make sure you continue to follow us to stay up to date. So in this episode, like I said, I'm going to share my dad's What's Going On. So now check out a quick clip from videos that he recorded while he was in the hospital in California.
What up? Big Gordy back in the motherfucking. Now I'm in LA in the hospital. Devil, you is a liar. Anyway, we just wrapped up the Parables from the Projects. I couldn't be there because I got shingles. I don't even know. I mean, I guess it's a common disease, but it's contagious. So, I couldn't be at the place that we rented out for the Parables of the Project. Had guests, had these people speaking. Blew my mind, man, listening to other people tell their stories about, coming out of the hood, getting out of projects, or, just making it, not even making it, still not struggling, but still, fighting that fight. Yeah, man, I just would like to say, man, this has been a real experience. That it was a powerful podcast today. And, I don't know how these things happen. The timing of these things is so crazy, which makes you look at the Bible and, people be looking at them stories and be like, yo, nah, that couldn't have happened. Ain't nobody helped them through that. But listen, man, I'm a living proof. I mean, you don't got to believe. I mean, believe in something. Listen to Parables of Projects. Get some of the other stuff out of what we saying. And then, live your life. And maybe, you'll see where that turns out. my story today is, it gets me it don't get me as hype, but it just makes me proud that that I did something. So videos and all this stuff is gonna live forever. Somebody will find it. It's in the internet. So it's probably some Martian dude jogging all this down.
Hilarious. But no, I do know where my pops is coming from. It's out there, man. So, granted, okay, if the internet fails, they can take it down, yes, but it's out there now. So look, put your story out there. Keep sharing your story. All right. So I also have a throwback from me, since we just talked about the College Chronicles. This time, it's also National Mentoring Month for the month of January. So I have a mentee that went with me to All-Star Weekend in New Orleans a couple years ago, back in 2016. And it was a good time. And I found a video where I was speaking to some middle school students about my journey. And so I figured I'd share that here as well. As we come into this new year, know that the same rules still apply. You are the average of the 5 people that you hang out with the most. That is what I told these students, and that's what I'm sharing with you. Man, we know bad company corrupts good character. That's what the Bible says. And man, surround yourself with good character this year and always. The saying goes, like I said in the video, you are the average of the 5 people that you hang out with the most. Even at this level, it'll affect your trajectory of where you go. So 8th grade, bust my butt. Made sure that I was going to all my classes, getting good grades. And then when I went to the 9th grade, because my middle school went up to 9 actually, guess what happened? What do you think happened?
You got honors?
Yes. They put me back in honors classes. So, after changing my crowd, changing my circle, I was able to get back in honors classes. And I just say that because I want it to be relatable. So, in middle school as well, I gained a passion for basketball. Anybody play basketball in here? Or any sports? All right, cool. Okay, all right. I see a couple ladies. Yes, I see a couple of my ladies holding it down. So that's where I started playing basketball, and really started to fall in love with sports, right? So then, after playing basketball in high school, I also played tennis and softball. And there was this program, this after-school program that targeted girls that were basketball players and wanted to grow up and be WNBA players, right? You say you want to be an athlete, right? So they targeted girls that wanted to be athletes. And they said, you know what? We want to take you into the city, but they had me at the city. Like, I loved going to Manhattan or whatever. So I was like, oh, if I'm going into the city, like, whatever. I don't care what you're doing there. Talk to me. So they took us into the city, and they took us to the offices of women that worked in sports, right? So I had wanted to be a WNBA player, but they took us to offices to Madison Square Garden, where we met women that were in positions on the business side of sports. So how many people might play for a basketball team? Yes. Yeah. How many people play for a basketball team, like a professional team?
Oh, I know. 13.
Yeah, about 13, 15, something like that. Yeah, about around that range, right? How many people do you think work for a team? A whole bunch. 30? Like 25? 50. Higher. 100? Higher. 50? 150? Oh, higher. 200. Yep. About 200 to 250 people work for these NBA teams. So when 1 in 1 million people that want to be a professional athlete make it to the professional level, the chances are a lot higher that you can work for a team. So I didn't know that until, I got in this program and people were saying that they worked in these positions. So I saw these women in professional suits that, were in charge of all these men and in charge of these, teams. And I was like, wow, like, it just inspired me. And I said that I want to do that one day. If basketball doesn't work out, right? I had the same thing. So, we went to ESPN. How many of you listen to ESPN or watch ESPN, right? So we went to those offices. So you think about 250 people work for a team, but think about how many people work at the ESPN campus in Connecticut, and they have offices all over the country, right? Charlotte, LA. So this is all people that work in sports but don't necessarily play. And so when I was revealed that, it really gave me a new dream, right? It gave me something new to hope for, to hope in. And so, with that dream, I still had my hoop dreams. And I was still balling, trying to do my crossover. Back in the day, it was Allen Iverson, who, I thought I was Lady Iverson. But, and then I applied to college. So how many of you have an idea of like what colleges you want to go to? Shout them out. Shout a couple out. Xavier. Okay, awesome. So a lot of these schools I've spoken to, right? I've spoken at Florida State University. I just went there in September. And I'll tell more of my story later. But so I found out about this historically black college. Anybody know about historically black colleges, right? Xavier is one. What is a historically black college? Just so we make that clear. Morehouse is. But it's a place where. What were you gonna say?
Jackson State University.
Okay, but historically it's a place where only blacks, could go for the first time. And now it, is a place where blacks still go. Of course, it's more diverse. Some people of other races and cultures go there, but historically black colleges, celebrate black culture and black history. So I found out about Hampton University. Went there, studied sport management. And graduated in 3 years. And then when I went to church, as I think I spoke about in the last episode, my pastor spoke about the Harvey Fellowship, where you had to be applying to one of the top schools in your major. Had to insert this part since the video got cut off, but stick with us. And so I said to myself, after hearing about the scholarship, I need this money. Remember I told you I didn't have a lot. So we needed money to go to school. So I was like, well, let me apply for the scholarship because I need money to go to school. And I looked at Harvard last because I looked at Princeton, I looked at Yale, I looked at Dartmouth, all the Ivy League schools. But I looked at Harvard last because I thought it would be the most expensive and the hardest to get into. But, I prayed about it and, I just felt like God was telling me, it's not going to be you, it's going to be me working through you. And so I applied. I put in my, essays, just thoroughly went over it with my mentors. How many of you have mentors? Raise your hand. All right, those of you that don't, that's something that I'm big on, getting mentors to help you to get to these dreams, right? To get to your dreams, you need mentors, definitely, right? So, spoke to my mentors, went over my application, put it in. 4 months later, I got an email that said, congratulations, you are accepted into Harvard University Graduate School of Education. 4 months? Yep. All right, I am back. So, yes, that was an awesome time. The students were it was a school called Martin Luther King, and it was in the 9th Ward in New Orleans. And my dad's side of the family actually is from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So shout out to all my Louisiana peoples and our Louisiana listeners. Shout out to you. And they were just amazing students. I actually have to see where they are now because they were in 8th grade, so they're probably juniors in high school. I should just go back and visit them and see, if they went to the same school or, sometime may come back. Maybe they have a homecoming or something. But yeah, I just inserted that part and, wanted to speak a little bit about mentorship. That's what I, always speak to young people about. And it's National Mentoring Month. So I definitely, give a shout out to all the mentors that have, helped me throughout my lifetime and especially throughout my school and throughout my career. I talk about going from the hood to Harvard, but that wouldn't be possible without Alfred Edmond Jr., who I met my freshman year in college. He was at a business plan competition that I participated in, and I actually won a prize from there. I think I was maybe like first runner up. It wasn't like first place, but we did get funded. My Phenomenon Education Services, we got funded, and I got to meet him. So that was 2002, 2003. So a good 17 years ago almost. And just one of my, favorite people since then. And the group that taught me about mentoring was Power Play NYC that I talk about in this video, and that I always speak about because they, taught me like, learn from people that came before you. There's clues to success, and this is how you can, get to your goals. So I definitely appreciate Power Play NYC, Ellen Markowitz, Beth Raisin, everybody, especially, those that were there in 2000, maybe the year 2000. My 16-year-old self that just wanted to be a WNBA player. They taught me about sports and, mentors. And even when I was applying to graduate school, I told Ellen, who went to Yale, and, I was like, can you help me write this essay or, look over the essay that I wrote? And she was able to, look over it, give me feedback, give me comments. So, I'll never forget that. And we'll always be grateful for that. You can check them out at powerplaynyc.org, and you can check out Alfred Edmond at Alfred Edmond Jr. on all social platforms, and grownzone.com, him and Zara. Shout out to them for sure. And yes, man, I have a countless. Karen Buchholz was one of my first mentors, like, the first person I said, wow, she talked about how she had, humble beginnings, humble upbringing, but, she played tennis every day, and somebody saw her and really helped her launch her tennis career. And, she played pro tennis, and then she went on to, on her journey to become the vice president of community relations and fan development for the New York Knicks. And so, and she was just like, whoever you admire, or whatever industry you want to get in, look up the top person in that industry in the phone book and give them a call and ask to take them to lunch. And, after her speech, and this was at a Power Play event, after her speech, I was like, can I take you to lunch, because that was really the first time I saw a woman, that was in charge of a sports team, and, somebody that was doing sports and worked with children. So, I was hooked. I was hooked from the first time I met her. So yeah, man. Happy National Mentoring Month again. As you know, those are my Parables from the Projects people of the day. My dad will be back next week. We'll probably record an episode very soon, get it out very soon, because I miss him. And this is a 2-person podcast, but I didn't want to let, another week go by without putting out an episode for the listeners. So, thank you for tuning in. As always, visit parablesfromtheprojects.com. Share this, with some friends, 2 or 3 friends, just send the link. Hey, have you heard this podcast? Help us. Also, you can help us by writing a review on iTunes. That'll help the visibility of the podcast. And, yeah, follow us on the gram. I'm at Mia_Hall19. My dad is at GorgeousGordy9. And we're on Twitter at Project Parables. And we are out here. So, man, happy 2020 again. I'm still saying Happy New Year. My friend Gabby said she's saying Happy New Year for 2 weeks, into the new year. So I'm down for that. I got until the 14th. To stop saying Happy New Year. So yeah, man, let's go. Let's breathe different air. Let's get it. Let's get to it. And we'll be back soon. All right, y'all. One love.